of climate change is being felt globally. It is already disrupting the rhythm of seasons across the world and could pose new problems for biodiversity and food security. And as the planet continues to warm, there are fears that the potential risks from climate change could increase. A report by CDP, a non-profit environmental and financial disclosure platform on 620 of the world's largest cities' experiences of climate change, shows that 85% of these cities have already reported major climate issues, from extreme heat waves, droughts, wildfires to flooding. Here in Nigeria, an unending wet season has seen floods sack hundreds of communities, killed many, and caused devastation, the likes of which many have never seen. UNICEF statistics on South Sudan says an estimated 490,000 children are affected by heavy flooding, owing to exceptional heavy rains in the country since July. In Britain, flood warnings remain in place across the Midlands after heavy rains flooded homes and businesses in what is being described as the worst flooding in some areas since 1998. The U.S. state of California continues to battle wildfires that is proving too difficult to put out. Scientists say the current scope and scale of these disasters are fueled by climate change, calling on countries to step up action to mitigate these dangers. Environmental consultant and MD CEO Mark Press West Africa Limited, Idowu Salawu, joins us now to talk more about this. Good morning, and thank you for joining us on TVC Breakfast.
Good morning. How are you today?
Very well, thank you. Now, there has been conversations, even on the world stage, on issues bordering on climate change. But the concerns raised by many is the fact that institutions saddled with the responsibility to check all of this do not have the capacity to check this problem. How worrisome is this?
Well, it's very worrisome in one way or the other, because look at what the indices that you listed in your report: extreme heat waves, drought, and flooding. All these are signs of that climate change is real. I give you examples. Just last July, a report said about 5,800 square kilometer of ice melted into the ocean. And we might not rule that out as one of the reasons why we are having flooding, because if the ocean, if that kind of ice melted into the ocean, there will be a rise in sea level. And this is seriously affecting the flooding pattern that we're having right now. And we always advise the government to rise up to the challenge. And what are the challenges? Infrastructure that they are doing for flood management is not enough. And this is a concern to we that we are in the business of the environment. We advise government, and I don't know what they have in mind to do next with the excessive flooding that we're having now. And another study I have been giving in the past 25 years, looking at the rain pattern of Lagos and some west coast in Africa, they are looking at it as the same rainfall pattern is going on in terms of the quantity of rain that are falling. It's not more than 200 millimeters in the last 20 to 25 years in Lagos. But the effect of flooding is becoming too worrisome to us. So that means something is wrong somewhere.
So is the challenge about leadership that could drive this issue, to address this issue? Is that the challenge? Or is it about just institutions? Because there are some leaders who still do not believe when we talk about issues of climate change, they still do not believe that it's an issue.
See, I think everybody is aware of climate change. But the effect on both natural disaster that is happening to us now, with the leadership position of our so-called leader, I give you an example. What they have taken in consideration is that spending money on environmental infrastructure, they keep giving complaint. They don't have money. And if casualty is happening every day based on the impact of flooding that we are experiencing, So there is need to educate and enlighten our leader that they need to do more, because right now people are being displaced. Just yesterday, almost 100 community in Adamawa have been submerged. Now, toward this end of this season now, we are now going to be having river flooding and ocean flooding, because the water in the city will not be able to go freely into the ocean. So they need to just have a kind of political will to address this serious problem that we're having right now in terms of flooding, drought, the extreme heat, and all these indices of climate change that we're having. But Lagos, in its own case, is not about climate change that is causing flooding in Lagos. Infrastructure development, lack of infrastructure to manage this excess water is one of the problems that we are having.
All right.
Including
environmental consultant Ido Salao. We have to leave it at this point. Thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you.
The effect of climate change is being felt globally. It is already disrupting the rhythm of seasons across the world and could pose new problems for biodiversity and food security. And as the planet continues to warm, there are fears that the potential risk from climate change could increase. A report by CDP, a non-profit environmental and financial disclosure platform, on 620 of the world's largest cities' experiences of climate change showed that 85% of these cities have already reported major climate issues, from extreme heat waves, droughts, wildfires to flooding. Here in Nigeria, an unending wet season has seen floods sack hundreds of communities, killed many, and caused devastation the likes of which many have never seen. UNICEF statistics in South Sudan says an estimated 490,000 children are affected by heavy flooding owing to exceptional heavy rains in the country since July. In Britain, flood warnings remained in place across the Midlands after heavy rains flooded homes and businesses in what has been described as the worst flooding in some areas since 1998. The U.S. state of California continues to battle wildfires and is proving too difficult to put out. Scientists say the current scope and scale of these disasters are fueled by climate change, calling on countries to step up actions to mitigate these dangers. Environmentalist and MD CEO Mark Price, West Africa Limited, Ido Salao, joins me via Skype this morning. Thank you very much for joining me now. All right, this issue of climate change is a huge issue, of course. Recently, the rains have been so heavy in Lagos and Nigeria as a whole, and we've been seeing persistent flooding to which that it hasn't been able to abate and all of that. Why haven't we been able to project these situations and create infrastructure that will mitigate these issues?
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me again. You see, we have to just follow the normal system that's being practiced worldwide. I think we should stop talking about effect of flooding, causes of flooding. In smart city that Lagos want to be or Nigerians want to belong to, they don't teach their children about causes of flooding any longer. They now discuss about how do I minimize flooding? How do I have a city with flood free? Or how do I have a city with free challenges of environmental challenges? What do I mean by that? They now have the leadership position to implement environmental infrastructure. I give you an example of Netherlands, Germany, even UK of recent experienced flooding. So no nation is immune from flooding. So what we are saying is that the leaders and the political heads of each city should now go into the drawing board. How do I minimize flooding?
But we've been going to the drawing board several times. We've been having flooding over the years, and it seems that, like, despite the fact that we've been going back to the drawing board, nothing has been done.
But something has been done in Lagos before. And just of recent, the former governor of Lagos, who is currently a minister, said that whenever it rains in Lagos, he has no sleep. He will not sleep. Reason, before he gets to government, he will sleep. He will just carry his duvet and sleep. But the moment he enters government, all he'll be thinking of is how will 18 million people will be able to go to work when it rains. And he brought all his lieutenants into the drawing board. They move, they work for that 8 years. They spend money. So we need the political will, and we need to put funding, the right funding in place, so that all the infrastructural facility that we need to put this response in place has to be there.
Are those things got in place already?
They are not. When did they dredge Odoyalaro, the system 1? When last did they dredge it? The last time they dredged system 5 was doing Fashola, not of recent, that the speaker, Bajabi Amila, used his federal might to do the redredging of system 5 by Babgan Mashau. There are other areas like that. What of the Okeafa Canal? It's been there ages. Nobody has gone there to dredge or channelize or tame the river. Rather, people are busy dumping waste on the river. So what do you expect? What result do you want to get? And I give you an example in the last session. I said the quantity of rain that we are having has not changed in the last 20 years in Lagos.
Okay.
Based on that, what has now made the flood pattern to be more impactful right now? So we should check ourselves. The government, the policy maker, and even the citizenry, they all have a role to play. So if a past government was able to dredge 820-something kilometers of drainage channel, rehabilitating new old one, constructing new one, and I give an example of the new one that he constructed. Ilubiri was not linked to the lagoon before.
Okay.
Governor Fashola did it. And Ido-Oto was not linked to the lagoon before. Governor Fashola did it.
All right.
And these are the kind of leadership position we are talking about.
All right, Idaho Salau, I'm afraid we have to end it here at this point. But thank you so much for your contributions on this issue. It's a daunting issue that needs to be addressed. But you've shed more light, and of course, you've hit the nail on the head. Thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.